The commitment behind Aston Martin's Works Formula One team has been unquestionable during Lawrence Stroll's ownership. His biggest strategic decision and financial investment may be yet to come though. Formula One has a new engine era on the horizon in 2026, and all the focus has been on whether that will tempt the Volkswagen Group into committing to an F1 project. But is another new engine manufacturer already on the grid? Stroll has grand ambitions for Aston Martin and may consider its long-standing Mercedes engine deal to be approaching the end of its use for the team. The Aston Martin chairman is investing heavily in the F1 team, building a brand new factory and expanding it into a broader technologies group. Since the end of last year, there have been suggestions that Stroll's long-term vision includes interest in exploring an alternative engine program. In a move akin to Red Bull creating its own powertrains division, this could lead to a standalone Aston Martin F1 engine. The topic first came out into the open after Stroll's request late last year to be part of the group that discusses future F1 engine regulations. Stroll's request to the FIA wasn't believed to be an indication of an imminent standalone engine program or a switch to a new manufacturer. But it did reflect Stroll's desire to better understand the technical direction that F1 could head long term so he could plan accordingly. At the time, then Aston Martin team boss Otmar Szafnauer's response was never say never, and Aston Martin's party line was that it's very happy with our current partner Mercedes-Benz, to whom we are contracted for some years yet, and we have no alternative plans at this time. But around the launch of Aston Martin's 2022 car, Chief Technical Officer Andrew Green indicated that it could be a serious proposal after all. Green said, "With our ambitions, we're definitely investigating our power unit supply in the long term. 2026 is mooted as a new power unit regulation. I think as a team, we'd love to be involved. We have Aramco now involved as a sponsor. I'm sure we'll be looking at it in great detail and understanding whether there's a benefit to us moving in that direction." Aston Martin's new for 2022 title partner would seem to be an important ally in this interest. Not only would the Saudi Arabian energy and chemicals company lend immense financial resource to what would be a serious undertaking, it would also be primed to make a legitimate technological contribution. When Aston Martin announced its Aramco partnership earlier this year, it stressed that the deal would include a bid to drive the development of highly efficient internal combustion engines, high-performance sustainable fuels, advanced lubricants, and the deployment of non-metallic materials in vehicles. While this would likely have been aimed predominantly at using F1 as a laboratory to develop real-world technologies, it would absolutely be applicable to an F1 engine development program too. We've got a theory of where an Aston Martin F1 engine project could lead, but before we share that with you, we've got a quick favour to ask. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It makes a big difference to us, and all it takes is one click for you to make sure that you don't miss out on anything that we've got planned for 2022. The question is whether Aston Martin would be capable of doing this completely on its own. For example, the nascent Red Bull powertrains facility in Milton Keynes is in the process of being built and fully kitted out, and its focus is already fully on preparing the first Red Bull F1 engine for 2026. Red Bull has been linked with a technological partnership with Porsche, but has insisted it's working on the basis it could take on such a project completely independently, thanks to the investment going on at its new facility. Red Bull powertrains won't have a few years running the Honda takeover engine project as preparation for its own as originally planned, because Red Bull will now contract that out to Honda in Sakura, but it is at least well on the way to being ready for 2026, whereas Aston Martin would need to make a rapid decision over making a similar commitment to be in a position to build the necessary facilities and hire the right people in time to hit the start of the new rules. New Aston Martin team principal Mike Crack believes there is plenty of time to get an engine project right though, and that's why it's under consideration now. In his first call with media since officially joining the team at the start of March, Crack said, "The timelines are reasonable to introduce them in 2026 because we know that other competitors are also evaluating an entry. It is reasonable to take this decision to be on the grid in 26 with your own power unit. It is the right moment to look into it now." It's presumably too late for Aston Martin to incorporate an entire engine facility into the brand new factory it's already planning to have up and running in 2024, complete with a state-of-the-art simulator and wind tunnel. That begs the question, even if it has the finances in place, would Aston Martin need a partner to share the burden in terms of manufacturing, production and R&D? And if so, Who would it be? Well, one contender could be Cosworth. The company hasn't competed in F1's V6 turbo hybrid era, as its engines last raced in F1 in 2013, the final year of the V8s. But it partnered with Aston Martin and Red Bull on the Valkyrie hypercar project, building a naturally aspirated 1,000 brake horsepower V12. And it wasn't that long ago, in a pre-Stroll era, that Aston Martin was in discussions with Cosworth about building an F1 engine together. In 2018, F1 was still considering dropping the complicated MGU-H from its power units and updating the engine formula for 2021. Then Aston Martin boss Andy Palmer was on a major media offensive touting the potential for the company to enter properly as an engine manufacturer, which would have been with Cosworth. Well, now F1 is dropping the MGU-H after all for 2026, and Aston Martin, under new ownership, has a Works F1 team. So maybe this is an opportunity for that collaboration to finally come together. A Works team is certainly no guarantee of success, especially when it's with a new engine manufacturer, see McLaren Honda. And it comes with a significant expense, even if Aston Martin went for the cheaper route of badging technology created externally. But there are benefits. Green has talked previously about adopting the Mercedes rear suspension and gearbox because they're designed to work with the Mercedes power unit, and that comes with a certain amount of predetermined packaging requirements. The integration of a bespoke engine has always been at the heart of a proper Works team. If Stroll thinks that is an essential ingredient for Aston Martin to become a title challenger, he's unlikely to shy away from it. Whether Aston Martin goes it alone or finds a manufacturer to buddy up with, a new engine project raises a serious prospect of it ending a long-time Mercedes alliance. Team Silverstone has been a Mercedes customer across various identities since Force India switched from Ferrari for the 2009 season. It's fostered an ever closer relationship with Mercedes, striking a technical partnership that, as we just mentioned, allows it to use the manufacturer's gearbox and rear suspension. And of course, Aston Martin is coming off the back of running what was to all intents and purposes a Mercedes clone in 2020 and 2021, having copied its aerodynamic concept, although this wasn't done in collaboration with Mercedes. The Aston Martin-Mercedes relationship has been strengthened by the connection between Stroll and his Mercedes F1 counterpart Toto Wolff, who are business associates and friends. Wolff's even an investor in the Aston Martin Lagonda roadcar company that Stroll runs. So it's perhaps no surprise that last year, Wolff said he wouldn't advise Aston Martin pursuing its own engine in the future, and stressed the value of the Mercedes deal to both parties. Asked in December if he'd recommend an engine project, Wolff said, "No, definitely not. I think we have the industrial logic of Mercedes being a supplier to the roadcar company and Mercedes being a supplier to the Formula 1 team. It's a credible story, it makes sense for both sides, and that's why I don't know where that has come from." If Aston Martin went in its own direction, Mercedes could rapidly find itself short of customers. McLaren's been linked with a potential Audi F1 entry and would therefore presumably switch to a Works Audi-badged engine. Williams has been named in the VW Group speculation as an alternative for Porsche if it decides to enter F1 but doesn't strike a deal with Red Bull. Whatever the outcome, these rumours are all signs of just how much F1 could change in the coming years. So while the 2026 engine rules are unlikely to single-handedly cause the same performance shift as the start of the hybrid era in 2014, they may yet shift F1's landscape considerably.